That's what.
Joanna?
Hold on. Last night she got to hear it.
Did she?
Because we do this little shot of Mark got this really great shot of the baby statue, that little girl statue.
Yeah.
Okay, and I intercut it in. I mean, it fits perfectly. But the sound while he's doing that, right, is you can hear Joanna in the background going, "Why the f did you come?" The ladies hate me because I always give them a mouthful.
He does. He loves it. And we're not talking about him. It's all about me. Hey everybody, did you miss me? I am back for the season's last show before getting ready to bring you some more.
For those handful of you who do watch our time slot, you will have to endure some redone episode reruns, or maybe I should just say redux.
I think it's pronounced redo. The X is silent. Just don't want you to look like an idiot, Bill.
Too late for that.
Today we are guaranteed a great show because we have Matt Parmenter returning, and he has brought actor Jim McClure with him.
Kind of a full circle thing. Sunrise, sunset.
I know I'm going to regret this. What do you mean?
Our first episode, we showed the early patrons, which was a stellar performance from Mr. McClure. And now here he is for the last show of the season.
That is actually kind of sweet. Then, after we catch up with our guests, we will all discuss Pulp Fiction.
This is big. I was watching Pulp Fiction at the Little Art Theater 20 years ago, started my journey for me, because I no longer wanted to just be a film fan, but be a filmmaker. It took years, but here I am fulfilling that destiny begun so long ago. I've only just begun.
There will be no singing on the show. Please join us at the table for some great conversations with Matt and Jim.
Thinking about my old man.
I thought you told me you hated your old man.
Well, you know, he worked in the coal mine nearly 30 years, for next to nearly nothing. We lived in a run-down trailer down in the holler. We didn't have anything, Darla.
Didn't know that.
When I left Kentucky, I swore I'd never be like him. I told myself that I would do anything to get what I wanted and to get what was mine. And if anybody got in my way, I would tear them down.
You don't have to worry about that now, Jules. You've got me, Modesto, and all the money you could ever want.
What do you take me for? Take me for some kind of fool? I see how you look at Bobby. And I swear to you, if I find out anything that's going on, I will cut that cute little face into cute little pieces and ship your ass off to Mexico. Do you understand me?
Yes. Please let me go.
Get on out of here. Get!
Better inside. That's got it. Ladies first.
Charming. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Let's see what's on the other side of that door. Hallway. Let's see where it leads.
Do I get paid either way?
Let's go.
Oh, what is that smell?
Evil death.
Okay, I don't want to do this anymore. You proved me wrong about the vampires, and I know I said I'd help you, but what good is being out of debt if I'm too dead to enjoy it?
Relax, there's nothing here we can't handle. Besides, I came prepared.
And that's supposed to make me feel better?
Look, I'll make you a deal. Go a little further, and if there's nothing going on, we'll leave, okay?
The evil death smell further ahead?
Well, yeah.
I don't know, Rook. This is...
I'll tack on a $15,000 bonus for every vampire you kill.
Let's go. By the way, I didn't see a gun in your bag.
Guns are useless against the supernatural, my dear.
Oh, yeah? What about silver bullets and werewolves?
Don't be ridiculous. I don't believe in werewolves.
Oh, God, I think I found the smell. So, back at the bar, you said that vampires make you nervous. Have you come across them before?
It was a long time ago. I'd rather not talk about it.
Oh, come on, Rook. You know all this stuff about me. It's only
Look,
fair...
I'd rather not talk about it.
Look, I'm sticking my neck out here. We could die at any moment, so anything you know from past experience, right now would be a great time to share.
I was traveling through Romania with a girl. Her name was Bianca. We were very young, very much in love. She wanted to join me on an investigation into the deaths of 3 children in this small village.
So what happened?
We used a dampier to sniff the vampires out. Dampier is a child of a male vampire. The instincts to hunt them down.
So you hunted them down and killed them?
Yes. But not before they'd got to Bianca. They turned her. I had to kill her.
I'm sorry, Rook.
It's okay, Rachel. Let's just find out what's going on down here.
Welcome to the season finale of Film Speak. This is episode 20. Just absolutely delighted to be here, and we finally managed to put a hood over Lana's head, throw it in her trunk, and get her here for a show. And plus, we're sitting here talking with Matt and Jim, two guys who I absolutely love to work with and who just do great stuff in the area. And then we're going to talk about Pulp Fiction. How can you get any better than that? So thank you for coming on the show, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
We'll start with you, Matt.
Okay.
I know you were on the show a few months ago.
Yes, sir.
Please update us to what you've been up to.
Well, I was saying we were about to get our film Modesto back, and we've got it, and from our music and sound fellow, and it is really good. It just blew us away at the end. We were very happy to get that.
People a lot of times don't think how much importance is the sound of a film to the feel of it, you know, and the emotional impact.
He saved us on our first film, Nailbiter. We originally had another fellow doing the music and sound, and at one point in the film, a friend of mine said it sounded like a washing machine was going on. It was heartbreaking to just watch that.
I liked how he dropped the music off too.
Yeah. He pretty much dropped it like a drive-by shooting almost. Yeah. You want to stick by and get it? No, I got stuff to do. You hear the tires peeling out, but yeah, it was.
But he delivered a beautiful piece of work.
Oh
though.
yeah, he always does a great job.
Sound can definitely make or break a film.
Yeah.
It can be shot beautifully, and everyone can be spot on with their acting, but if your sound's bad,
You lose everything.
it kills you, yeah.
We scored big time with locations too. A friend of mine let us borrow their house, and it's a beautiful mansion. One of those kind of roundabout driveways. It looks like a British mansion and all.
Oh, nice.
And we were allowed to film in a section of a hospital, where it's not like you probably know. When you're doing a film, you like to make something look like a hospital. We actually had a hospital. It was just.
It's very rare unless you have a large budget.
Yeah.
To pay them.
And we do films with no money at all. So it is, and that in itself is very rewarding once you can organize people, get everything together, and then you see the finished product, and you go. And as I said, it's very rewarding to get that.
Now, Modesto, any of our 12 or so viewers watching, where would they be able to find out information about this film?
Well, you can go on to our website, witchdoctorfilms.com, or you can go to our Facebook page. We also update that quite a bit.
So that would be Witch Doctor Films Facebook.
Facebook.com/witchdoctorfilms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's smart.
Yeah, she is.
That's why we're so happy to have Lana back.
Not just pretty, but smart.
So yeah, please check them out. They also have many other films. I know you work quite frequently with this gentleman here.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the rook character. In fact, we just got done with another audio book. I don't know, a couple months ago we got it done, and
Yes.
I think the music is ready to go on that.
Yeah.
Need to pause? What happened?
Lana's mic is getting hit by her necklace.
Oh.
And it's just
so
like,
sorry.
we can't hear you. All we hear is your necklace.
Giant pops in there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Here, let's move it
Put
over.
your glasses down because
Oh, is it
they
clicking?
dang down to his microphone. It's that chain
Sorry.
that's dragging on. But you gotta have that mic up so it's towards your mouth. We're still recording, by the way.
That's okay. I might use this.
Syphilis.
I've been doing stuff like that.
Syphilis. Hello, Rusty.
They're on those.
Hello, Rusty.
Look what I could do. There you go.
Hello.
Oh, dear Lord.
Hello.
Spock has boobs.
Spock showing her boobs?
What a strange Harrison
It
brother.
would be logical for you to take your top off now.
Have That just reminded me of you ever seen the movie Fanboys?
Obviously not.
One of the characters, he gets a hooker but doesn't know she's a hooker, and he's all like,
Your ass
not that
don't
tall.
kick.
he's like, you will remove your top.
I'm scared of her.
Nice. Am I being difficult today?
It was
It's
on
not you,
backwards.
dear. We're just trying to.
We make it work.
That ought to do it. What do you think? Just be aware of this thing.
Just don't do any major boob muscling.
Or swinging back and forth.
None of this.
Just leave that to me to do.
Okay. Boo.
I'll
Don't do this.
I'll do the boob shots.
There you go. Wow, I didn't even
Good
have to
thing
tell
I
you
didn't
what
wear
to
the
do. You
push-up
just
bra
went
today.
I automatically go there.
gone to the boobs right then.
Wah, wah,
There
wah.
you go.
Squeaky, squeaky.
Makeup, C-cup. Oh.
Okay, so are we recording? Are we picking up right to where we left off?
We're not quite ready.
Okay, voice of God,
Do we need
just
to
let me
start
know.
over? Surely not.
No, and don't call me Shirley.
Just go back to whatever you were doing.
Okay.
So,
No break.
what?
Jim!
Where would he leave off?
Jim!
By the
We
way.
were
You were
talking about the Rook.
The
Okay.
Rook book.
Yeah, we hit the
Audio dramas.
the audio tape,
Yes.
and I think we were about to segue into talking about upcoming Rook.
Yes.
Yes, we are getting ready to, actually Monday, we are going to do our first script reading all the way through with the entire cast. And I'm really looking forward to doing it. We have a different script writer this time who sort of fleshed certain things out, and we have a nice little reveal at the very, near the end of the film. Those of you that have seen the Rook film, you will be very impressed with what Matt and Albert have come up with. And it's a little magical dilemma that he gets to get into this.
Well, I really enjoyed the first Rook film, or at least was that the first one?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we've
Rook
done
and the
two audio
Scourge,
Then
books
we've
Rook
done
and the
since then,
Scourge
yeah.
of the Vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I know you probably don't want to hear this, but I really loved your character. You reminded me of a combination of different things.
They kept throwing things at me, some of which I knew. I mean, this is probably going to shock some of your viewers, but I've yet to see an entire Doctor Who
See, and you
episode
reminded
ever.
me.
It's like,
I caught a little bit of Doctor Who in that.
Yeah.
I was seeing a little bit of Krychek, the Night Stalker in
Yeah,
there.
that
Yeah,
I
well,
knew.
yeah. When I first pitched
Yeah.
the idea, it was House meets Night Stalker.
Oh, sweet.
Kolchak
Yeah.
the Night Stalker.
Yeah.
And then we threw a little bit of Remington Steele in there for
yes.
I don't know, assholedom. So, I don't know a better word.
Douchebaggery.
I don't know.
That's a good one. We'll have to remember that. And, we'll do a third one? Yeah. And then the Doctor Who was mentioned, but like I said, the Doctor Who stuff was pretty much directed through Albert. Because, I mean, he's basically like a Doctor Who channel guy. I mean, he
Yeah.
just can channel the Doctor right through, and
Yeah.
he communicated it really well.
That
to
was
me, so.
part of the thing that I knew that Aaron, our cinematographer, and Albert are big Doctor Who guys, so I was like, wow, well, the Rook can be a little bit like Doctor Who. So,
I found out, just off subject, for anybody who's really dorky, if you watch the Rugrats cartoon, it is an homage to Doctor Who. The old Nickelodeon, they fit Daleks and other things just into backgrounds. The main character, Tommy, has a screwdriver he carries in his diaper that gets him out of all situations. Just tell Albert that. Tell him to check out Rugrats.
all right.
Watch a kid show and see how many Doctor Who references he can get.
Oh, he's the king. He has made everybody in Cincinnati and now Dayton are going to be all Doctor Who fans. I can guarantee you that.
That is excellent. It doesn't have to work very hard for me. I'm one of those people. It's like when we were the last episode we were talking about Star Trek. I love Star Trek. Have never been a Trekkie. Same thing with Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who, but I've never been one of those people who get all caught up.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I guess I get fandom things sort of mixed up a little bit because I don't ever really go overboard with too many things. But I do get kind of like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle feel sometimes when I just, things are starting to
I
come.
never noticed.
Yeah. And
Well, one of the things with Doctor Who, I got to do Doctor Who cards officially for Unstoppable Cards.
And
So
I love
that's-
your Doctor Who series.
Thank you.
Speaking of which, while we're on topic, this man is an incredible artist along with being a filmmaker. We actually have some of his art here.
Yeah, I want to hear about this Betty Page.
If I can bring this up, this
Yeah,
is
well-
his
This is
Betty Page.
phenomenal. I
Well, thank
really
you.
like this.
Well, I got a great story with Betty Page. One of the guys who works across the street from me worked on a magazine called Draculina, which is B-movie actresses from the 80s. And Dave Stevens is a fantastic artist. Unfortunately, he passed away. His wife used to pose for him, Brink Stevens. And the guy knew everybody there, so he goes, well, that's a really good Brink Stevens. Because he was saying that, and, you know, because she would pose as Betty Page, so it
sweet.
was really cool. But yeah, this was Copic markers and brush pen, and you know, I love to get the thins and thicknesses you can get with a brush pen. So.
Well, I tell you, some of the detail you have with the shadowing and the skirt and everything, and the fishnets, and it looks like existing muslin shadow underneath the fishnets. I just wanted to say that this drawing is fabulous. And let me show. Keep the camera there. I want to show just a couple more artworks. We have these are some of his sketch fan cards, right? Just sketch cards. Is that what these?
Oh yeah, these are sketch cards I did for Unstoppable Cards in the UK. They'll be in packs of cards. This is for the film The Man Who Fell to Earth, starring David Bowie.
Yeah, which is a great movie. It's why I chose this one. It's a favorite sci-fi from '75, I believe it was. 75, 76.
I want to say. I had to send, I was working for Unstoppable, and I had to send them an example because somebody had to approve of my artwork from that was running it. So I like to think that David Bowie was the one that accepted me to draw David. So.
How long does it take you to create something like this?
It's hours, and that's probably kind of sad because that's 2.5 by 3.5 inches. But
What is your process?
well, I'll take a picture that's the exact same size and I'll measure it off between. So it's like, I'm wrong here. I'm wrong. I'm right. I'm right. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. So
I would like to point out that these are sketch cards of the Wicker Man. That they're sketch cards of the really good 1972 Wicker Man, not that crappy remake recently with Nicolas Cage. I wanted people to realize that.
I think it's one of the best horror films, not just British, but horror films in general.
Well, it is a tremendous psychological horror, and I think it gets overlooked a lot of times when people. There's a lot of those horror movies from that age that I really.
Everybody doesn't get their head chopped off all the time. It's not really the same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
it's like, what? You know, did they really make horror films before Friday the 13th?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Do you have to have blood and guts and boobs to make horror? You know.
Well, when we make our films, we try to do a lot of that 70s Hammer type things, and they had blood, but it wasn't like entrails coming out, and you know, it's like if that's a comic effect, I guess, but just your mind just turns off.
You don't lean
after a
towards
while.
gore.
Yeah.
I love old Hammer films
Yeah,
from their heydays from the 50s to the early 70s. Thank you for mentioning them. So anybody watching, go check out a good Hammer film. I mean, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, these guys were amazing back then.
Oh, yeah. There's so many good ones.
The Mummy, their take on Frankenstein, the whole Dracula series with Cushing as Van Helsing and Christopher Lee as Dracula. And my favorite, Captain Kronos, Vampire Slayer. That is, I've mentioned that on the show before. That's one of my top 2 movies to make a remake.
Oh, that would be a great remake.
Yeah, wouldn't it? I mean, not enough people know about it.
They say the 7 Golden Vampires is going to be, they're going to do a remake of that.
Really? I got that movie at home.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yes. Oh, as I said, I'm a big fan. I have a book of Hammer Glamour of the Women. I have about 10 signatures from it.
Oh wow, of the actresses and stuff from it. That is excellent. Well, before we close off, one last time, sir. Anything you're up to? If anybody would like to check out what you're doing.
Pretty much just go to the Witch Doctor site right now for the Rook information. With you, I did the early patrons. I think you already mentioned that.
Yeah,
but
tremendous performance.
Other than that, I really haven't been up to too much. Like many of your guests, I also have a full-time job, so I just try to squeeze in what I can. And I really fell in love with the Rook character, and so it's kind of pretty much. You guys want to do a Rook thing? Okay, I'm ready for that. You know,
Yeah,
I'll look for other work if I think that's not like available or not going to be anywhere in the near future. But when these guys want to do something Rook, they've just got my attention, and I'm like a puppy chasing after the bone.
So when it comes to Rook, is there a little bit of Jim
Yeah,
in this
actually,
character?
we've played with the character a lot from what the original script was. The original script was really good. But as I came on and they saw what I was good at, what I was better at, and then when we started mixing the other characters in it, and a lot of what the Rook became was how, not just what he does, but how he reacts to other people. He's got this air of superiority, he's a little weird, he's not always, I guess he's always focused, but you don't always get the feeling that he's always focused. and there's a few kind of great one-liners that those guys threw at me, and we just kind of like went for it, and they ended up in the film. This one may deviate from the script in the same way, but I really don't see it. This script is really strong. I really don't see that happening too much this time.
Yes, Brad Combs, he also writes, I believe, fantasy novels, and unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to get him to write anything further because his books are really taking off right now.
That's good.
But fortunately, there is a lot of good talent around there.
It is a great screenplay. Not to be facetious, I guess. But Joanna and I are also cast in the next Rook movie.
Yes.
And I can totally agree and back up what these guys are saying, that I loved the screenplay. Think it's going to be amazing, and we are so pumped and jazzed about being able to do this project.
Well, we are very excited and grateful to have you guys help us out on
Oh, it's going to be a great time. I'm just ecstatic to be working with Jim again. Because he's one of my favorite actors in the area.
You will be very blown away with how good a director and how good a vision Albert has.
Excellent. We can't wait.
Yes.
Yeah. It is. It's always one of the things about a director. You know that they're playing the movie in their mind.
Yeah.
And even if it's a staged play, but they're always playing something in their mind, and can they communicate to that everybody that what's their job? Albert does it really well. I mean,
excellent.
He understands how to read a script, break it down, put it in his own head, run the script, spit it out to us in whatever language we need to get the job done. So
that counts. That helps get in the shot.
Yes, it does.
But did you have any final words, Matt, before we head off to our next segment?
Well, if anybody's interested in our films, please look us up. Contact us. We also sell our stuff. It's all good.
One last time, if we can get a shot on this. This is one of Matt's newer drawings.
I like that one.
This is a nice one. Check this out. And we shall see you in our next segment. Okay, everybody. Quick sketch. Hello, little man. Boy, I sure heard a bunch about you. See, I was a good friend of your dad's. We were in that Hanoi pit of hell together over 5 years. Hopefully you'll never have to experience this yourself, but when two men are in a situation like me and your dad were, for as long as we were, you take on certain responsibilities of the other. If it had been me who had not made it, Major Coolidge would have been talking right now to my son Jim. But the way it turned out is I'm talking to you, Butch. I got something for you. This watch I got here was first purchased by your great-grandfather during the First World War. It was bought in a little general store in Knoxville, Tennessee, made by the first companies to ever make wristwatches. Up until then, people just carried pocket watches. It was bought by a private doughboy Ernie Coolidge, on the day he set sail for Paris. It was your grandfather's war watch, and he wore it every day he was in that war. And we had done his duty, and he went home to your great-grandmother, took the watch off, and put it in an old coffee can. And in that can it stayed until your granddad Dane Coolidge was called upon this country to go overseas and fight the Germans once again. This time they called it World War II. Your great-grandfather gave this watch to your granddad for good luck. Unfortunately, Dane's luck wasn't as good as his old man's. Dane was a Marine, and he was killed along with all the other Marines at the Battle of Wake Island. Your granddad was facing death, and he knew it. None of these boys had any illusions about ever leaving the island alive. So 3 days before the Japanese took the island over, your granddad asked a gunner on an Air Force transport named of Wanaki, a man he had never met before in his life, to deliver to his infant son, who had never seen in the flesh, his gold watch. 3 days later, your granddad was dead, but Wanaki kept his word. After the war was over, he paid a visit to your grandmother, delivering to your infant father his dad's gold watch. This watch. This watch was on your daddy's wrist when he was shot down over Hanoi. He was captured, put in a Vietnamese prison camp, and he knew if those gooks ever got this watch, it'd be confiscated, taken away. The way your dad looked at it, the watch was your birthright. He'd be damned if any slopes were going to put their greasy yellow hands on his boy's birthright. So he hid it, and in the one place he knew he could hide something. His ass. 5 long years he wore this watch up his ass. And then he died of dysentery. He gave the watch to me. I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass for 2 years. Then after 7 years, I was sent home to my family. And now, little man, I give the watch to you. That's it. You won't like it there. It's dark and moist. Welcome back to Film Speak. We were sitting here with Jim and Matt here to talk about a big film for me. This is Pulp Fiction. So thank you guys for joining us here.
Thank you.
I guess I'm going to, for one of the first times, I'm just going to grab the reins right away and say Pulp Fiction is the reason why I want to be a filmmaker. Straight up. I always loved film ever since I was a kid. TV shows didn't cut it for me. I always needed films to feel sustained. You know, it's like a TV show is a snack. I wanted a meal. You know, and it had to be a film.
Yeah.
And in '94, when I went to go see Pulp Fiction for the first time, I walked out of that theater a changed person. It just completely blew me away. I'd never had a movie affect me like that. And I walked out of it pretty much straight away. It was like, you know, I'd been an actor for a few years. I'd done stage shows. I want to be a filmmaker now. And after that, I started reading Rick Schmidt's How to Make a Feature Film for a Used Car. I started reading the Sid Field books on making a screenplay, everything I could get. And that all started because I watched Pulp Fiction. So that movie, more than any movie, I guess, is important to me for the impact that it had.
I've always found it to be just one of the most important films probably made in the last 30 years. I really didn't see it at the theater. I really didn't watch movies much at that time. I pretty much just didn't really think much about it. I was like you, doing stage stuff. I was more impressed with stage stuff. But somebody had brought the VHS. I mean, this is for those of you that don't know what a VHS is. It looks like a paperback book. But he brought it over and he just started playing it. And I really didn't think much of it at first. It's the little restaurant scene, and I'm like, what are these people yelling for? But then you started seeing the time thing. And anyways, we ended up watching it 3 times that night. I was just trying to figure out how the time things stretched into each other. I think I'd mentioned it before that John Travolta is killed in it, but you love that as a character. However, he ends the film with Samuel Jackson's part. So it's almost like a resurrection. I'm probably the wrong word, but you don't feel the loss of a great character the way you would normally feel about somebody that dies in a tragedy at the end.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're just like, oh my God, this is the best way to make a film.
And I love the whole thing with John Travolta because it plays into that classic Hollywood aesthetic that you sin, you die.
Yeah.
And they were given that moment, and Samuel Jackson, Jules, you know, had his I had my clear thoughts, sitting here, and I just want to walk the earth like Cain. This was God telling me that I have to walk away. And John Travolta's character didn't, and he dies, which is pretty much, I think, the summation of that.
Yeah, I think that's how he's what he's trying to communicate with it. But there's so many levels to the film.
Yeah.
What's your favorite line, though?
Favorite
one. Just pick one. What hit your head right now when I said that?
Well, my favorite line, I guess, it would be right off the bat, second scene. Tell me again about the hash bars.
We did it earlier. My husband, your boss.
My
I
husband,
love that scene. That's
my
my favorite
husband, your
part.
boss, told you to take me out and do whatever I wanted. I want to dance. I want to win that trophy. Dance good.
And yours, Matthew?
Okay, we can't say bad words.
Well, you know what? If you
No
if
bad
you,
words,
if
Matt.
if you do, I will be.
You're
going
to have an
over-
odd sound.
I'm going to go over and
Okay.
editing and put an embarrassing sound in there.
Say what one more time? Yeah.
He mouths it.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
censored himself. How
I
cute.
censored myself.
Say it. Say it like he would say it. Come on, say it.
Oh, wait.
Come on.
Say what one more time, Yeah, there you go. Wow, I channeled a little bit there.
You know what's
Wow.
great about that scene is Samuel
Wow.
Jackson messed it up.
Oh, I did.
The character's name is Brett, and he walks in and he says, "Oh, you're Brett." But when he's talking to him later, he goes, "Check out the big brain on Brad."
Right, yeah. I was going to say.
But if you think about it, it fits the character.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't care enough to get his name
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of a context mistake. I mean, the movie is so good you don't even acknowledge mistakes like that. There's an editing problem when Bruce Willis kicks in the door to save Marcellus Wallace.
Okay.
And he stabs the guy here, and then they show Zed, and the sword comes across him, and then it shows Bruce Willis, and he's bringing the sword around. And that only comes, you only notice that after you watch the movie 60 times.
Yes,
I just revealed how
In 3 days.
Right.
I just revealed how pathetic I am. But, the week it got released on video, my son brought pink eye home from the daycare. And both me and him got pink eye, and I was stuck at home for a week. I watched that movie 2 to 3 times a day, 7 days, because that's when you check a video out for 7 days straight.
I don't know. I just think it was. I've just been blown away
The
by
writing,
film.
the acting.
Yeah.
It was a game changer.
Yeah.
I think for
It
all
was.
filmmakers up and coming and for veteran filmmakers thought, oh wow, this is a great new approach on how I can make film.
Well, there may have been films that followed that kind of aesthetic, especially when you go back to the 60s and 70s. But they weren't really huge commercial successes. They were foreign films, things that did better overseas. That kind of formula didn't really adhere to America until then.
Remember in films when you would get 3 screens things going across, like the car would go across, and then there'd be the guy with the expression, and there'd be something else going.
Yeah.
You don't get that filmmaking anymore.
You don't get that anymore,
Yeah.
which was such a neat style, though, when they would use that.
Yeah.
I think they did that in The French Connection.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, where they would show what was happening 2 different times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not to say that it happened in Pulp Fiction, but it just reminded me of that throwback type of thing.
Yeah, it was, and just going back to what Lana said. I mean, it's like when Eddie Van Halen played guitar. Everybody ran down to their basement to learn how
Right.
to.
Yeah.
And I think Pulp Fiction did something to say the pop culture references. I don't think you got that very much in films. I mean, if you did, they were very short.
But I was.
You did get whole conversations like that. Buddy Holly's a terrible way.
Even before Pulp Fiction, I was a total dork who spent all my time quoting movies.
Okay.
And then, but before then, it was like in the Army. The big films were Aliens, Full Metal Jacket, and Highlander, and would always quote that. Something because we talk about Pulp Fiction, the dance scene.
Yeah.
You know where that dance scene comes from? Where the inspiration is?
Well, it looks like they're doing the Bat-Tusi when they go.
Yes, that's exactly.
Yeah.
That was Quentin Tarantino's whole intent behind it, was to imitate that Catwoman Batman dance when he's got the martini. Yeah, and that's all it was I want a quick reference to Batman. But who picks that up?
No.
It's total dorks.
No.
Yep.
And I couldn't see any other woman other than Uma Thurman playing that role.
Oh no.
There's absolutely no way. She was perfect casting.
She was absolutely perfect for that. And to think Kill Bill was born.
Yeah, because that's where they
during
began our
Pulp Fiction.
conversations, right?
If you look in the pawn shop, there is a neon sign behind Bruce Willis when he's searching for weapons that says "Kill Zed," and it is in the exact same font and style as the Kill Bill font.
No, I didn't notice that one. No.
Yeah, I've watched that movie with just maybe a.
Is there a samurai sword in the window at the pawn shop by any chance?
Yeah, well, that's what he grabs.
Oh, okay,
Takes the samurai sword down.
I thought of a trivia question for you.
What?
What during Vincent Vega's quality time reading in the bathroom?
Yeah.
What is he reading?
Oh, I know that book. It's a pulp novel. I can see the pink
I hope I'm right because last time I seen the book, but okay.
He brings us a trivia question
Yeah.
and doesn't know if his answer
I
is
can't
correct.
remember the name of the book.
It was Modesty Blaze.
Yes.
Yes.
That is it.
Yeah.
So he does know the answer.
I was like, oh gosh, wait a minute. Yeah. I was desperately trying to figure out what he was what he was reading when he was first in the bathroom and I seen it the second time. I was like, okay, it's Modesty Blaze.
Because he's also carrying it at the diner too.
Yeah.
Cause that's the book he takes to go to the bathroom with when he's at the diner.
Yeah.
I love that there's so many familiar faces in the film as well.
I have to take back my favorite line.
Good.
Which wallet's yours?
Yeah.
It's the one that says back.
There you go. Yeah.
I like his line better.
Well, thank you.
I liked his line better.
Yeah, I'm not going to go back. I'm going to stick with what I had.
That is one of the best scenes. I mean, to think about his character when he just, walks up and he's like, take a bite of the man's burger, drink his Coke. I mean, the intent that says behind it as a character is just phenomenal.
Now, had Sam Jackson done much before that? I mean, I'm sure
the first movie I remember Samuel Jackson in is Coming to America. Eddie Murphy. He was the robber guy who tried to rob McDougal's. He was his big breakout though was the Spike Lee movie Jungle Fever, where he played the crackhead. That was his big breakout, and then after that he got the Nick Cage movie Amos and Andrew, which really good film. It kind of does a whole flip on the whole racism thing. But Pulp Fiction was basically the movie that made the House of Jackson.
I mean, I really hadn't noticed him before that, and I really hadn't even noticed Quentin Tarantino's stuff before. I had to go back to find Reservoir Dogs.
Well, I had seen True Romance before Pulp Fiction, but like you, I saw Pulp Fiction, and then like a friend of mine's like, well, what do you think of Reservoir Dogs? What? He's like, well, you can't talk about Pulp Fiction to me until you go see Reservoir Dogs. So I had to see that right away.
And Pulp Fiction is also the movie that reintroduced John Travolta back into his second leg of his career.
Well, it made everybody forget that third Look Who's Talking movie.
Yeah.
Because that was painful.
Yeah, there were some pretty bad movies for him in the 80s.
Well, Look Who's Talking was okay. Look Who's Talking 2 probably didn't need to be done. The third one, somebody probably should have been shot over.
He did like a buddy film too, didn't he? Sometime in the 80s.
Oh, that buddy film where him and the guy get taken to Russia and they have to teach a whole town of Russians to be American. That movie was horrible.
But I love his face through the entire film. He's always got that smug.
That smug look.
On the entire time.
Exception to the rule.
What's that?
Blowout. 1984.
That's true, but I would say
or
his
anything
career
with
was
Olivia
still
Newton-John,
on.
like when he teams up with her. It's like Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase, like in the 70s and 80s. It's like those, they're okay when they're together, and you separate them. And it's like,
and you get Xanadu.
But wasn't the guy that was in Xanadu with her the guy that was in the Warriors?
Yes.
He was hot.
Warriors. Now, there's a movie I always liked.
I love that movie.
Talk about a film that probably
the annoying scene. Yeah. That was improv.
I love that.
That was improvised.
And I still, when I see that, want to kill that guy.
What a great actor though. That
Yeah.
kid played so many creepy douchebags.
Oh yeah.
In so many movies.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever had anything but he was
But
The
creepy
Crow.
He was in The Crow.
Yeah,
He was in The Crow.
Yeah.
He was a bad guy in The
He
Crow.
played, he played creepy douchebags. That's
Yeah.
all the guy ever played.
More douchebaggery. That is
More
the theme today.
More douchebaggery.
Yes.
So, some closing thoughts on Pulp Fiction. I know we got to be wrapping this up, or else I'm going to get hit in the head with a donut again. Wouldn't be the first time. Something else I'd like to point out: Quentin Tarantino loves the Tobe Hooper movie Eaten Alive. Have you ever seen that with Robert Englund, 1974? It's about a motel owner who feeds customers who annoys him to a crocodile out back.
Yes. Yes.
Robert Englund, it's his first movie role. And in it, he plays a guy who rhymes everything. Quentin Tarantino liked that so much, it is in almost every one of his movies. The bartender in Pulp Fiction, hey, my name's Bennett and I ain't even in it. You'll find that as a theme. Reservoir Dogs, you always have characters doing quick little rhymes like that. And that all comes from going back to 74, Eaten Alive with Robert Englund, which I always just thought was totally cool.
Interesting.
Well, because I'm going to have such a heck of a time bleeping out this. But even from Kill Bill, the line is directly taken because his character in Eaten Alive, his name is Buck.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta tell you what, I don't have to edit that. I'll just you know exactly what I'm talking
This
about.
is the PG-13.
This is the PG-13 show.
I couldn't imagine what the truck.
So I guess
Chuck.
but everybody consists to say, if you haven't seen Pulp Fiction, you should probably run out and go see it today.
Yes.
I would be surprised if you haven't seen Pulp Fiction.
Right.
I know. Well, you know what always bugs me is the number of people who I say, you see Pulp Fiction, like, well, I didn't like it. I didn't understand it. And I'm like, that's because you're stupid.
And there's another bleep right there.
I said frickin'.
No, you
It
didn't.
was frickin'.
No, you didn't.
Well, some people
I'm
don't
right
like
here.
that
I can hear
storytelling.
It will keep me on my toes editing. There will be so many fart noises throughout this whole episode.
We'll blame Matt.
We'll blame Matt. It was him. He did it all. So thank you for watching episode 20. This has been our special Pulp Fiction episode. One of my just absolute favorite movies, if you didn't get that. Thank you for joining us. And thank you guys very much for being on. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
We're going to have to kidnap you and drag you back for next season. Thank you, everybody. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
You ready?
I'm ready. I know that's Wild Wild West. Wrong theme.
That brings us to the end of not just this episode, but our 20-episode first season.
Join us next season when I am sure I will do something regrettable and make an ass out of myself.
Now that one I believe. Thanks to Nat and Jim for joining us today.
Please keep up with us on our Facebook page. Send us any ideas or comments. That is at facebook.com/talkfilmstome.
20 episodes, and we are just going right into bringing you 20 more. I can't believe we have done this many.
I can't believe they let us. Look forward to seeing you next season.
Any ideas for films to talk about next season?
I was going to go for The Holy Grail, Godfather, and The Dark Knight.
Good choices. I can't wait for it to get here.
Thanks to everybody for watching, all 5 or 6 of you. Bye, everybody. Excellent. We're ready.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Quiet on the set!
Can we shut the door?
Please.
Matt Parmenter.
Yes.
Exactly. Jim McClure.
right? Clure or Clure? McClure?
She-
McClure or McClure?
She doesn't want to butcher people's names like I do.